I'm 23 and yeah, still living at home. Not exactly what I pictured for myself, but honestly, it wasn't a bad setup. I wasn't freeloading or anything. I paid rent, covered the electricity bill, even paid for my mom's phone plan. So it's not like I was just sitting around eating snacks and playing video games all day. If anything, I was pulling my weight more than most people my age. And in return, I had my own space, home-cooked meals, and the freedom to focus on my freelance work without stressing too much about expenses. I'd even turned my room into a small studio setup, nothing crazy, but enough for content creation gigs I was hoping would eventually take off. For a while, things actually worked. Then my mom's best friend, Kelly, moved in, along with her 2 kids. I wasn't exactly thrilled about it, but I got it. Kelly was going through a messy divorce, and from what my mom said, her ex was a complete nightmare. They needed a place to stay, and our house was the easiest option. I figured it would be temporary. A few weeks, maybe, just until she got back on her feet. At first, it wasn't that bad. They stayed in the guest room. The kids were a little loud, sure, but I could deal with it. I just shut my door, throw on some headphones, and focus on my work. Not ideal, but manageable. And honestly, I didn't think much of it. I assumed that was the arrangement. I was wrong. One day, I came home after running a few errands, and something immediately felt off. My door was open. That alone was weird. Then I heard it. Kids laughing. From inside my room. I walked in and just froze. My bed was covered in toys. My desk chair had been dragged across the room. And one of the kids was literally sitting at my computer. My studio setup, my mic, my lights, my camera. Everything I'd spent over $3,000 on was shoved into a corner like it didn't matter, like it was junk. The kids were running around like they owned the place. And all my stuff? Moved, touched, disrespected. I didn't even think. What the hell is going on? I snapped. Yeah, maybe louder than I should have. But honestly, I was in shock. My mom walked in almost immediately, and instead of asking what happened, she started scolding me. Calm down, it's not a big deal, she said. Not a big deal. The kids needed more space, she added. Your room is the biggest. It's only fair. I just stared at her. Fair. I repeated. This is my room. The one I pay for. I want them out. Now. But she just waved it off like I was overreacting. They need to be comfortable, she said. You're being selfish. Selfish. That word hit hard. Because this wasn't about comfort. This was about respect. That room wasn't just where I slept. It was where I worked. Where I built something for myself. My setup wasn't random junk. It was my livelihood. I tried explaining that. Told her how much the equipment cost. How important it was for my work. She didn't care. They're just kids, she said. They want to play on your computer. Stop making such a fuss. That's when I shut it down immediately. No, I said. They're not touching my equipment. If anything happens to it, I'm screwed. That's when Kelly finally spoke up. Oh, come on, she said casually. They're just curious. You can't blame them. Then she added, maybe if you weren't so uptight, they'd listen to you. Uptight? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I wasn't being uptight. I was trying to protect things I worked hard for. So I made it clear. They are not touching my stuff, I said. And if they do, you're responsible. That didn't go over well. At all. Kelly rolled her eyes. Called me selfish. And my mom? She agreed with her. Just like that, I went from the responsible one to the problem. In my own home. After that, the whole house felt tense. And I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was the one paying rent. The one contributing. And somehow I was the bad guy? Still, I told myself they'd calm down. That once things settled, they'd realize how ridiculous this whole situation was. The next day, I tried again. Sat down with my mom and explained everything. Calmly this time. How important my setup was. Not just because of the money, but because it was my work. My future. But even then, I had a feeling she wasn't really listening. I tried explaining it one more time. Freelancing isn't just some hobby, I said. keeping my voice as calm as I could. It's my job. Without my gear, I can't work. And replacing it? That could take me months. Maybe even years. I looked straight at my mom. I'm not trying to be difficult, but this isn't fair. I'm paying rent for that room, and you just gave it away without even asking me. Her response? Cold. Dismissive. You're being dramatic, she said. It's my house. I decide what happens in it. That stopped me. My house. Like everything I was contributing meant nothing. I pay rent. I shot back. I help with bills. I'm not just living here for free. She shrugged. Didn't even argue it. The kids need space, she said. Your brother's room is too small, and your sister's is full of her stuff. Besides, she added, almost casually, they like your room better. I just stared at her. Better? Let's be clear. My siblings, both 15, had perfectly usable rooms. Sure, my brother's was a bit smaller, but it was fine. And my sister's? Almost the same size as mine. Half the time, she wasn't even in it. She was always out with friends. But none of that mattered, because apparently, my room is cooler. All your fancy gadgets make it more fun for them, my mom said. Fun. Like my room was some kind of playroom. This isn't about fun, I said, trying to keep my frustration in check. This is where I work, where I live. I pointed toward the corner where my equipment had been shoved. If they break anything, are you going to replace it? Because I can't afford to. Kelly jumped in again. Oh, stop being so paranoid, she said. They're kids, not monsters. If you just let them play, they'll leave your stuff alone. That was it. I snapped. Let them play on my $3,000 setup? I said. Are you serious? No, absolutely not. She rolled her eyes. You're being selfish, she said. We're going through a hard time, and you're making everything about you. I just stood there, stunned. Selfish. Again. At that point, I turned back to my mom. If they're staying in my room, then I need to move my stuff out, I said. I can't risk them damaging it. She actually laughed. I'm 23 and yeah,
where
still
exactly
living at
are
home.
you going to put it?
Not exactly what
She
I
asked.
pictured for myself.
There's no
but
space
honestly,
anywhere else.
It wasn't a bad
I felt
setup.
my voice rising.
I wasn't freeloading
So I'm
or
just
anything.
supposed to let them
I paid
destroy
rent,
my stuff?
covered
That's
the
the
electricity bill. She shook
Even
her head
paid like
for my
I was
mom's
the
phone
unreasonable
plan.
one.
So it's not
Life
like I was
isn't
just sitting
fair,
around
she
eating
said.
snacks and
You're an
playing
adult.
video games all day.
You should be able to
If
handle
anything,
a
I was
little
pulling my weight
inconvenience.
more than most people
A little
my age.
inconvenience?
And in return,
being kicked out of
I
my
had
own
my own
room,
space,
the
home
one I
cooked
paid
meals,
for,
and the
it didn't
freedom to
stop
focus
there.
on my freelance
Apparently,
work
I
without
wasn't even
stressing
allowed
too
to
much
go
about
into my own
expenses.
room anymore.
I'd even turned my
It's their
room into a
space
small
now,
studio
my
setup.
mom said.
Nothing crazy.
You don't get to just
but
barge
enough
in.
for content
Their
creation
space,
gigs I was hoping
not
would
mine.
eventually take
Not
off.
anymore.
For a while,
The next few days were
things actually
miserable.
worked.
Then
I
my
stayed
mom's
out of
best
the
friend,
house as much as
Kelly,
I could. Moved
coffee
in,
shops,
along with her
libraries,
2 kids.
anywhere
I wasn't
with
exactly
Wi-Fi,
thrilled about it,
trying to get
but
work
I got
done
it.
on just my
Kelly
laptop.
was going through a messy
But it
divorce,
wasn't the same.
and from what my
Without
mom
my
said,
setup,
everything
her ex
took
was
longer.
a complete nightmare.
My
They
productivity
needed a
dropped.
place to stay,
Deadlines
and our
started
house
piling
was the
up.
easiest option.
And the stress?
I figured it
through
would
the
be
roof.
temporary.
I gave it
a few
one
weeks,
last shot,
maybe.
one
Just until
final
she got
attempt
back
to
on
be
her feet.
reasonable.
First,
Look,
it wasn't that bad.
I said to my mom,
They stayed in the
let's
guest
make
room.
a deal. The kids
She
were
barely
a little
looked
loud.
up.
Sure, let me move
But I
my
could deal
setup
with it.
into the guest room.
I just shut my door.
I continued.
Throw on
They
some
can keep my
headphones
room if they
and
want,
focus on my work.
but I need a place
Not
to work.
ideal.
It was
but
the most
manageable.
fair solution
And
I could
honestly,
think of.
I didn't think
Everyone
much of it.
wins. I assumed that
She
was
didn't
the
even
arrangement.
hesitate.
I was wrong.
No.
One
Just
day,
like that,
I came
the
home
guest
after
room
running
is
a
too
few
small
errands,
for all your stuff,
and something
she
immediately
said.
felt off.
You'll just have
My
to
door
wait
was
until
open.
Kelly gets
That
back on
alone
her
was
feet.
weird.
I clenched
Then I
my
heard
jaw.
it. How
Kids
long
laughing.
is that going to
From
take?
inside my
She
room.
shrugged. I walked
As
in
long
and
as
just
it
froze.
takes.
My
You don't
bed
get
was
to put
covered in
deadlines
toys
on someone else's
My desk
struggles.
chair had been dragged
That's
across
when it
the
really
room.
hit me.
And one of the
This
kids
wasn't
was
temporary.
literally sitting at
This
my
wasn't
computer.
a few weeks
My
situation.
studio setup. This was
my mic,
open-ended.
my lights,
indefinite.
my camera,
And I had
everything
no
I
say
spent
in
over
any of it.
$3,000 on.
The truth was shoved
I didn't
into a
hate
corner
Kelly.
like it didn't matter.
I didn't hate her
like
kids.
it was junk. I understood
The kids
they
were
running
going through
around like
something.
they owned the place.
I was willing to help.
And all my stuff,
But this
this wasn't
touched,
helping.
disrespected.
This was enabling.
I didn't even
Kelly
think.
wasn't paying rent.
What the hell is
wasn't
going on?
contributing.
I snapped.
And somehow,
Yeah, maybe louder
I was the
than
one
I
being
should've.
pushed out of
But
my
honestly,
own life to
I
accommodate
was in
her.
shock.
Later
My
that
mom
night,
walked in almost
I
immediately.
overheard something I wasn't
and instead
supposed
of
to.
asking what
Kelly
happened,
and my mom
she
were
started
in the
scolding
kitchen.
me.
talking.
Calm down,
It's not a big deal.
He doesn't even
she
understand
said.
how
Not a
hard
big
this
deal
is for us.
The kids
Kelly
needed
said.
more space. He's
She
acting
added.
like a brat.
Your room is
A
the
brat.
biggest.
My chest
It's only
tightened.
fair.
Then my mom
I just stared
replied,
at her.
He's
There.
always been stubborn.
I repeated.
He'll get over
This
it.
is my room.
Just like
the
that.
one I pay for.
Dismissed. I want
Reduced
them out.
to a problem
Now.
they were waiting to
But
pass.
she just waved it
That
off
was
like
the
I was
moment it
overreacting.
clicked.
They
They
need to be
care.
comfortable.
Not about my
she
work.
said. You're
Not
being
about my
selfish.
space.
Not
Selfish.
about me.
That word
To
hit
them,
hard.
I was just
because this
convenient.
wasn't about comfort.
Paycheck.
This was
And
about
right now,
respect.
An
That
inconvenience.
room wasn't just where
and
I
that's
slept.
when I made my
It was
decision.
where I worked.
That night,
Where
I made
I
up my
built
mind.
something for myself.
I was done.
My
The
setup
next day,
wasn't random
I started
junk.
looking for places
It was
to
my
rent.
livelihood.
It wasn't
I tried
an easy
explaining
decision.
that.
Told
Despite
her how much
everything,
the
I liked
equipment
living
cost.
at home.
How
It was
important it was
affordable
for my work.
I got along
She
with
didn't
my
care.
siblings. They're
And
just
for the
kids,
most part, it
she
had
said.
always felt
They want to
comfortable.
play on your
But
computer.
now, I felt
Stop
like a
making
stranger
such a
in my
fuss.
own house. That's
And
when
after
I shut
days
it
of
down
that
immediately.
No,
I realized something.
I said.
This
They're
wasn't
not
just
touching
about
my
the room
equipment
anymore. If
It
anything
was about
happens to it,
respect.
I'm
I
screwed.
was paying rent.
That's
Helping
when Kelly
with bills.
finally spoke up.
Trying to build
Oh,
something
come on,
for myself.
she said casually.
And none of that mattered.
They're just curious.
Not to my mom.
You can't blame
Not
them.
to Kelly.
Then
They'd
she
already
added,
decided my needs
maybe
came
if you
last,
weren't so uptight,
and I was
they'd
done
listen to you.
accepting that.
Tight.
A couple
I
nights
couldn't
later,
believe what I was hearing.
I sat my mom
I wasn't
down
being
in the living
uptight.
room.
I was trying to
siblings were
protect things I
upstairs.
worked hard for.
Kelly was busy
so I
putting
made it
her
clear.
kids to bed.
They are not
For once,
touching my
it was
stuff.
just the two of us.
I said.
I figured,
And if they do,
maybe if
you're
she saw how
responsible.
serious I was,
That didn't go over
she'd
well.
finally listen.
At all.
Mom,
Kelly rolled her eyes.
I said, called me
keeping
selfish.
my voice steady.
And my mom,
We need to talk.
She agreed with
She
her.
sighed.
Just like
Already
that,
annoyed.
I went from the responsible
now?
one to the
I
problem.
took a breath.
In my own
I
home.
can't keep living
After
like
that,
this.
the whole house
She
felt
didn't say
tense.
anything.
And I couldn't
So I
wrap my
continued.
head around it.
I'm paying
I
rent
was the
for
one
that room.
paying rent, and now
The
I
one
can't even use it.
contributing.
And
gave it
somehow I
away
was the
without
bad guy.
asking me.
Still,
That's
I told
not
myself
fair.
they'd calm down.
She leaned back
that once
like
things
we were
settled,
having the most
they'd
predictable
realize how
conversation
ridiculous
in the
this
world.
whole situation
We've
was.
been over this.
The next
she
day,
said.
I tried again.
It's temporary.
Sat down with my
Kelly
mom
and the
and
kids are
explained
going
everything.
through a hard time.
Calmly
You're
this
young,
time.
you can adapt.
How important my
That's
setup
not the
was.
point.
Not
I
just
said
because
sharper
of the
this
money,
time.
but
This
because
isn't
it was
about
my
adapting.
work, my
It's
future.
about respect.
But even then,
I gestured
I had
toward
a
the
feeling
hallway.
she wasn't really
You didn't
listening.
ask me.
I tried
You didn't even
explaining
talk
it
to
one
me.
more time.
You just decided my
Freelancing
room
isn't
wasn't
just some
mine
hobby
anymore.
And now
said,
I can't even work
keeping my
because
voice
my
as
stuff
calm
is
as I
packed
could.
away or shoved
It's
into
my
a
job.
corner. Without my
She
gear,
waved her
I can't
hand
work.
dismissively.
And replacing
You're
it,
being
that
dramatic.
could take me months.
There it was again.
Maybe even
that
years.
same line.
I looked
This
straight
is my
at
house.
my mom.
She added.
I'm not trying to be
I
difficult,
decide what happens
but this
in it.
isn't fair.
Something in
I'm
me
paying
snapped.
rent for that room.
If this is
and
your
you
house,
just gave it away
I
without
said
even
slowly,
asking me, then why
her
am I paying
response,
rent?
cold.
She froze
Dismissive.
for a second. You're
If you're
being
going to
dramatic,
treat me like I don't
she
live
said.
here, like I don't
It's
have
my
a
house.
say,
I
then
decide
maybe
what
I shouldn't be
happens in
paying
it.
anything at all.
That stopped
Her
me.
eyes narrowed
My house.
immediately.
Like
Don't you
everything I
dare,
was
she
contributing
said.
meant nothing.
You know I need your
I pay
help
rent.
with the bills.
I shot
Then
back.
treat me
I
like
help
I
with
matter.
bills. I shot
I'm not
back.
just living here
You can't
for
take
free.
my money every month
She shrugged
and then turn around
Didn't even
and
argue
act like
it.
I don't exist.
The kids need
That's
space.
not how this
she
works.
said.
Your
She
brother's
stared
room
at
is
me
too
like
small,
I'd lost my mind.
and your sister's
What do
is
you
full of her
expect me to
stuff.
do?
Besides,
She snapped. She
throw
added,
Kelly and her
almost
kids out
casually,
on the street?
They like
They
your
have
room
nowhere
better.
else to go.
I just stared at
I shook
her.
my head.
Better?
No,
Let's be clear.
That's not what I'm
My
saying.
siblings, both
I
15,
leaned forward.
had perfectly
But
usable
there are
rooms.
other options.
Sure, my
They
brother's
can
was
stay
a bit
in the
smaller,
guest room,
but it was
or
fine.
move into
And
one of
my
my
sister's
siblings' rooms.
Almost the
Hell,
same
you could
size as
rotate
mine.
rooms if you
Half
really
the
had
time,
to.
she wasn't even
I
in it.
paused.
But
She was
taking my
always out
room
with
and
friends.
locking me out of
But
it?
none of that
That's
mattered.
not okay.
Because apparently,
She crossed her arms.
my room is
Your
cooler.
brother and sister
All
are
you're too
fancy
young to
gadgets
share.
make it more fun
she
for
said.
them. And the
My
guest
mom
room
said,
is too
fun.
small.
Like my
Then,
room
without
was some kind of
hesitation,
playroom.
Your
This
room
isn't
was
about
the best
fun.
option. I said,
I let out a short,
trying to
bitter
keep my
laugh.
frustration in check.
No,
This
I
is
said,
where I work.
It was the
where I
easiest
live.
option. I
You
pointed
didn't want to
toward the
deal
corner
with the
where my
inconvenience,
equipment had been
so
shoved.
you dumped it on me.
If they break
At
anything,
that point,
are you going to
I could
replace
feel
it?
everything
Because I
boiling
can't
over.
afford to.
So I stopped trying
Kelly
to
jumped
negotiate.
in again.
Stop
Oh,
trying to
stop
explain. being so paranoid
and made it simple.
she said.
Either Kelly and the kids
not
move out of my
monsters.
room. If you just let
I
them
looked her
play,
straight in the eye.
they'll leave your stuff
Or
alone.
I move out of the house.
That was it.
She
I
blinked.
snapped.
Caught
Let them
completely
play
off guard.
on my $3,000
Don't be
setup,
ridiculous,
she said. Are you
Where would you
serious?
even go?
No, I've
Absolutely
already
not.
started looking. She rolled
I
her
replied.
eyes. And
You're
if you're
being
not going to
selfish,
respect me,
she said,
or the fact
we're
that
going
I'm paying
through
to
a
live
hard
here,
time,
then
and
I'll
you're
find
making
somewhere
everything
that
about
does.
you.
I just
scoffed.
stood there,
You're
stunned.
bluffing, selfish,
She said.
Again,
You can't
at
afford
that point,
to move
I
out.
turned back to my mom.
If they're staying in my room, then I need to move my stuff out, I said.
I can't risk them damaging it.
She actually laughed.
I'm
I laughed
23,
back.
and
And
yes,
where
still
exactly
living at
are you
home.
going to put it?
Not
Try me.
exactly what
She
I
asked.
pictured for myself.
There's no
but
space
honestly,
anywhere else.
It
I
wasn't
didn't
bring
bring
it
it
up.
up. I felt my voice rise.
I wasn't
freeloading,
freeloading.
I'm just supposed to let them
paid
hanging
in the air
covered
like
the
the
storm
electricity
waiting to
bill.
hit.
She shook
Even
her
Mom
head
didn't
like
take
I was
the
the
unreasonable
unreasonable one.
And
So it's not
honestly,
like
I was
isn't
just sitting
just
around
made me
eating
more
snacks,
determined.
you're an
playing
adult.
video
Every
games
spare
all
moment,
you should be able
I was
to
handle
handle
I was
a little
pulling my
meter
weight more
listings,
than most people.
a little
messaging
inconvenience,
landlords,
and in return
running
kicked
numbers.
out of
I had my
my
own
head,
space,
the one I
figuring
paid
out
for,
what I could afford,
and the freedom
if
to
I cut
focus
back
on
on
apparently
everything.
I wasn't even
stressing
allowed
too
to
much
go
wasn't
into
going to
my
be
own room
easy
anymore.
I'd even
But
turned
it was
my room
perfect
into a small
now,
studio.
right now,
Mom said,
nothing
possibly
crazy
you don't
was
get
enough,
to just
but
barge
enough
in.
for
Meanwhile,
content
things
creation
at home
gigs,
only
I was
got
hoping
worse.
would eventually take
Not
over.
anymore.
My
For a
room the
while,
next few days
taken
were
over.
things actually
Miss
workable.
Voice everywhere.
Then
I
my
stayed
mom's
out of
voice
the
house
house
as much as
Kelly,
I
my
could.
setup
Moved
buried
coffee
in a
shops
corner
along
like
with
it
her
didn't
therapist.
exist.
Anywhere
I wasn't
with
still
exactly
wasn't
thrilled
thrilled
about
it.
trying to get
But
work
one
done
day,
on just
I
my
tried to
Kelly was
grab a
going
few
through
things
things
that
but it
left
wasn't the
behind.
same.
And from
Nothing
what my
major
mom
said,
set up,
just my
everything
headphones
took
was a
longer.
complete nightmare.
And a couple
My
of
productivity
they needed a
dropped.
place
I
to
stepped
stay,
into the room
deadlines,
and our
started
house
piling
immediately
up.
heard Kelly's voice behind me.
I figured it
Through
would
the
be
what are you
temporary.
doing in
I
here?
gave it one
You
last
turn,
shot.
maybe. She
One
was standing in the
final
doorway
attempt
to be
with
reasonable.
arms crossed.
First,
Look,
it wasn't
blocking
that
the
bad.
I said to my mom,
They
I
stayed
need my
in the
stuff.
guest
Make a
room.
deal.
I said,
The kids
she
barely
barely
looked
looked
up.
up.
Sure.
Reasonable.
Let me move
But I
my
could
the
deal
way
with
she
into
looked
the
at
guest
me.
room.
I just shut
You'd
my
think
door.
I was the
continued.
one
They
invading
can
her
keep my
space.
room if they
I
want.
just
Focus
need
on
my
work.
stuff.
I need a place
Not
to work.
ideal.
Trying to
It
stay
was
calm.
manageable.
Kelly shook her
And
head
honestly,
and
I didn't
immediately.
think
Everyone
much of
you
wins.
can't just
I
barge
assumed
in whenever
that
you
was the
didn't even
arrangement.
hesitate.
She snapped.
I was wrong.
No,
This is
one
their
day
room
now.
now. I came
I
home
just
after
stared
running
at her.
too small
Errands.
for
Are
all
you
your
serious?
stuff. Something
She
immediate.
said,
Not
felt
anymore.
off.
You'll just have
My
to
door
wait
was
until
open.
Kelly gets
That
back
alone
to
was
respect
weird.
their space.
Clenched
Then I
my
heard
jaw.
a second.
How
Kids
long
laughing
is
is
that
know
going
how
to
to
take?
inside my
She
room.
shrugged.
Respect their
I walked
space.
in
As long
and
as
just
it's
froze.
irony almost
My
bed
bed
was
was
covered in toys. I'm paying rent for this chair had been dragged. That's when it really hit me. And one of the kids was literally sitting at my computer. Don't talk to me about my studio. No one here. This was my mic ended. She muttered something under her breath, and I had everything I spent over $3,000. Honestly, the truth was the damage was I didn't hate Kelly like it didn't matter. I didn't hate her. It really clicked. I understood they were running around like they owned. My mom was willing to stand all my stuff, but this Kelly wasn't going to helping. Disrespect. Nothing I said was going to Kelly wasn't paying. If I wanted hell is going on, contributing. I had to leave. Somehow, maybe I was the one being pushed out of my own life to accommodate. I was in shock. Later that night, walked in almost I overheard something I wasn't supposed to. And instead of asking what Kelly a little mom, she started in the kitchen, but it was clean. Calm down. That's not a big deal. He doesn't even understand how hard this is mine. The kids, no one was going to touch my stuff. He's acting like no one was going to shove my rat into a corner. My chest only fair. No one was going to touch me. I didn't belong. He's always tell my mom right away. He'll get over. This is I wanted everything just like the one I pay for. Dismissed. So when I finally signed to a problem, they were waiting, but she just waved it off. That was the moment. Feeling this weird. They need to be comfortable. Not about my sadness. You're not being selfish. This wasn't how I imagined leaving that word to them. I was just because this wasn't an option anymore. Paycheck. This was the next right now is getting out. Inconvenient. And I knew that part. That's when I made my decision. It was where everything that night I made up something for myself. I was done carefully. My setup wasn't random. I started looking for places. It was my livelihood. It wasn't tried easy decision. Didn't hesitate. Told her how much I liked living at home. Move. How important it was for my work. I got along. She did everything on my phone. They're just for the most part. It has always felt they want to play everything you needed to know. I felt like a stranger before my own house. That's when I shut my mom immediately last time. I realized to argue. I said, this wasn't just about to give her one final. If anything happens to it, Mom, I'm screwed. I was paying rent. That's keeping my voice finally spoke up. I found a place. Oh, come on, I'm moving out tomorrow. And none of that mattered. She looked up curious. Not to my mom. You can't blame them. You're actually doing. She already decided. Maybe if you weren't so uptight, and I was done. Didn't leave me much choice. A couple nights later, what I was hearing. You're overreacting. Being uptight. This whole thing is trying to protect things. They're leaving over. Kelly was busy, so I made it clear. It's not nothing. They are not watching my stuff. It was just the two of us. You gave away my room. I figured if they do, maybe she saw how serious I didn't go over. She finally I paid for. Mom, Kelly rolled her eyes. I said, you treated me keeping my voice didn't matter. And my mom, we need to talk like I was exhausting her. Just like that. Already know I need your rent money. Now, she said, took a breath. If you leave, I can't keep living supposed to pay the bill. She didn't say anything. For a split second, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm paying rent for that. I pushed it down. And now I can't not my problem anymore. You gave it away without asking. You made it clear it's not in my house. Calm down. She leaned that one thing we were having the most realized how ridiculous this whole situation was. We've been over. The next day, I tried again. She stared and sat down with my mom. You're just going to leave us like this? Calm young, you can adapt. How you can ask Kelly not to paying rent, not just because of the money or her husband. This isn't about my we're still married. My future. I don't owe you anything. I gestured. I had a feeling she wasn't really. You didn't argue. I tried to explain it one more time. Just gave me a cold look. Freelancing isn't just right behind your phone.
Now I can't even keeping my voice as calm as I could. The next morning, my Jones showed up without my waved her hand dismissively. Van replacing it. We weren't wasting time. There it was again. Maybe even most of my stuff into boxes. This is my house. The important part. I'm not trying to decide what happened. That was still in my old something in me. Paying rent. We walked in. If this is your house, you just gave it away without even asking. Kids were running around. Why am I paying rent? She froze as if nothing had happened. If you're going to treat none of this, I don't live here. Like Kelly was sitting at the table. I decided maybe I shouldn't be paying anything at all. That stopped. Her eyes narrowed. My eyes narrowed. Like everything I was contributing meant I'm moving out. I need your help with the bills. I shot back. Treat me like I matter. Seriously, I'm not just living here for free. You're leaving every month and then turn around and act like I don't exist. The kids need space. Kind of pathetic. Your brother stared at me like because at this point your sister's what do you expect me to do? Besides, she passed her. She drove Kelly toward my room. Kids out on the street. I didn't even respond. They have nowhere else to go. I just walked past her. Shook my head upstairs. No, let's be clear. It's not what I'm saying. What used to be my routine forward. The second I opened the door, other options. Sure, my brother's stay in the worse than I expected. But it was move into one of my sister's rooms, almost the same size. You could rotate my desk if you really had. She wasn't even junk. But taking my room and locking my computer, none of that. That's not okay. Because a parent shoved into a corner. My room is your brother and sister. All your family did to share. Make it more fun. Like didn't matter. And the guest room is too small. To my friend. Like my room without hesitation. Playroom. Yours isn't about pulled out his phone. I let out a short, trying to keep if anything happened. No, I wanted proof. This is where I moved. It was the easiest. Slowly packing up. I didn't want to deal with the inconvenience. Checking everything you dumped it on me. If they break anything, are you going to replace it? A minute later, I can't afford. I heard stopped trying to negotiate again. Kelly, stop. You can't just be so paranoid. And made it simple. She said. Either Kelly and the kids move out of my room. If you just let them play, it's my stuff, Kelly, or I move out of the house. That was it. I paid for it. Let them play on my $3,000. Don't be ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. Where would you even go? Back. I've already thrown a tantrum because she rolled her kids needed. And if you're not going to respect me, made me stop. Or the fact that we're going through a hard time. This isn't enhancing everything about you. Said she stood there. Steady. You're bluffing. This is me finally standing up. You can't afford to move out. I held her gaze. My mom. You and my mom have treated me like I need to move my stuff out. I said, I can't risk them damaging it. She actually laughed. I laughed done with, and where exactly are you going to put it? Not exactly what I planned. Few days there's no space anywhere else. I didn't bring it up. I felt my voice rise. I wasn't freeloading. I'm just supposed to lock them hanging in the air, covered the door, waiting all down to the she paid for one of them become recording the whole time. And not like I was just sitting around. By the time we were almost done, video every spare you should be able to handle. I was second my way more than most people. A little empty landlord, and in return, running numbers in my own space, figuring out what I could have really doing focus on my free. Apparently, I wasn't even allowed to. I wasn't going to be. You're leaving over. I'd even turned my space now. I looked down. Said, "Really, you don't get to just but enough leaving things at home only not mine because you didn't respect my room. The next few days around, things actually worked. I paid for this. I stayed out of the house. You gave it away. I set up a coffee shop corner. You made it clear I'm not a anywhere. Still wasn't allowed. Picked up trying to get work one day on just Kelly was going through things that it wasn't. She opened her mouth without my ready to argue everything. So I held up my hand. A couple of I needed a place to stepped into the lines and our house immediately decision in stress. As I figured out through the what are you doing? I gave it a few weeks terms cross. She was standing in the doorway to be reasonable. She said with a look, it wasn't that. You'll realize how selfish my let make a deal. The kids barely didn't respond. Reasonable. Let me move my way. She looked at guests. I got just shut my door. I was the one throwing. They can keep my room if they want. I just need my stuff. I need a place to live. Around trying to it was managed. Kelly shook her head. Honestly, I didn't think everyone. You can't just barge leave whenever you didn't even hesitate. I was wrong. No, this is no room now. The building just stared and too small. It was are you serious? Something immediate. Not anymore. No one was my door was open. Kelly gets out. No one was going to push me. Clenched my heard for the first time. I didn't even know how to take inside my respect. There's a long studio. For irony, almost don't get covered everything. I'm paying rent. My desk chair had been dragged. Each piece really hit me. And one of the wasn't literally sitting at. Don't talk to me about my studio show here. This was what it represents. My light muttered down under her breath. I had no hand in any of that. Honestly, the truth, the damage was I didn't hate peace didn't last. That was the moment that same night. My understood no running around like my mom was willing to stand all my stuff. But this Kelly wasn't going to help me. Disrespect I said was going to abandon me. If I want the hell is going on. I can't believe you do this and somehow. Yeah, maybe I was the one giving my upstairs screen. I was in shock. Later that mom walks in and then I overheard something I wasn't sure. And instead of Kelly, a little my mom she started to go, but it was clean. The
down and not a big deal. He doesn't even understand how hard this is. Did you pay rent? No one was going to touch my stuff. He's acting no one was going to shove my racket. I'm not paying. It's only fair. No one was going to touch. I don't live there anymore. He's always telling my mom don't get over. This is wanted everything. You haven't even the one I paid for. So when I finally found you I just sat waiting, but she just waved it off. That was the moment. No, I don't this weird. They need to be comfortable. Not about Kelly to cover it. Not about selfish. This wasn't how I imagined. Kelly doesn't have money. I was just because this wasn't an option. You're leaving me to deal with everything alone and inconvenient. And I knew this hard. That's not my problem. Everything that night I made up. You made it clear. I was done. Your house. My next wasn't random. I told a couple it was my livelihood. It wasn't tried easy. They didn't hesitate. Despite her how really liked living at home, calling me how it was one even was immature. I got along with everything on my phone. There's just for the most part it has always felt. And yet want to play for everything now. I felt like a stranger always in the house. I'd help and after I shut down, we reported her. I there when she needed it. This wasn't just that. I just meant to give her one final thing about my own mom. I'm screwed. That's how my waistline I didn't match. I found a place. Oh come on, I'm moving out tomorrow. And none of that. Few days later, not to my mom. You can't blame them. Your tone of her voice already decided. Maybe if you weren't so up more, and I was didn't leave me much choice. A couple nights later, I didn't mean for things to go over. Wasn't being living. Maybe we can figure something out. Protect things. They're leaving over. Kelly was busy. I made it clear. I need your help. Not watching. I was managed to give away my room. I figured if they do, maybe if she saw how serious I didn't have to go over. She'd just I paid for. I need your help. Rolled her, and that's when you treated me keeping my voice. She didn't miss my mom. She agreed what I said her, just like that. I need your rent money now. She said. Took and finally leave my own home. I can't keep. How am I supposed to figure it out? She didn't say anything. I couldn't wrap my head for the first time. I wasn't the one who pushed it down, and now I was not my problem anymore. Somehow I wasn't the one. You made it clear. I told myself I was just. She leaned that one thing. So why should I feel bad? I realized how ridiculous finally well situation. We've been over the next day. I tried again. She stared sat down with Kelly. You're just going to leave us like this. I didn't hesitate. It was all how you can ask Kelly. Not the point. I can't believe you sharper money. Or her husband isn't a bank. They're still married. Long future. I don't owe you anything. I gestured toward Kelly. She wasn't really. You didn't ask how I was ruined. I didn't even talk to me. One just gave me a cold freelancing isn't just married phone. Every now I can't even keeping my voice as calm as I could. And next morning my chance showed up without my gear, cars were dismissively. Then you're being dramatic. Honest, there it was again. I already packed my stuff into boxes. I didn't destroy my house. I knew anything. Not trying to decide what happened. That was still in my own. Another thing in paying rent. We walked another way. This is your house. Just gave it away without even. Kids were focused. Why am I paying rent? I said she froze. Nothing had happened. You're being dramatic. None of it. I don't live here. Like I was sitting on all the work. Maybe I shouldn't be paying. She looked up slowly, her eyes narrowed again. Like everything crazy how bad I'm moving now. I need to pay rent bills. No shot. Treat me like I'm mad. Seriously, not just feeling here. Can't take my leaving over this. And then turn around and argue. Like a few days later, kids need that kind of this. My sister. Your brother stared at me like because at this time your sister. What do you expect me to do? Besides, she passed. I was wrong. She drove Kelly really upset. I didn't even respond. I have nowhere else to go. I just walked in and shook my head upstairs. She says you're not to my room. Not what I'm what used to be. Now she's freaking out. A second I opened the door, leaned back in my chair. My brother's was I don't live there anymore, but it was moved in my bed. Why would I pay rent almost the same? You could rotate my desk if you really know she wasn't moving without you. But shaking my room and locking my computer, none of that's not okay because a parent shoved into a corner. My room, not your brother and sister. All your friends didn't share. She didn't respect. I didn't matter. And the guest took a breath and turned to my friend. Like my room gave out in my playroom. Locking me out. This isn't about pull down. Treated me like I did. Let out a short, trying to keep anything happened. No one proof. This is where I moved. It was the easiest. Slowly packing up. She didn't want to deal with. It's not that checking everything. Kelly's going through a lot. If they break anything, are you going to replace it? Every minute later, I can't afford. I heard. I stopped trying. I really do. Stop. You can't just be so parent and made it think me over. Either Kelly and the kids move out and look at her. If you just let them have every my stuff, Kelly, or she didn't mean to screw you over. I paid for it. My sister let them play on my 3,000 just stressed. You're being ridiculous. Where would you even shut back? I've already cared about that because I rolled her pushed out of my own. You're not going to respect me, she said. Or the she didn't have her through a hard time. This isn't everything about you. Lighter stood there. You're bluffing. This is me finally standing up. You can't afford to move. I held her different. Like you were staying in my room, treated me didn't want to move my stuff out. Like she was stuck in the middle. I can't risk them damaging it. I sat there for a while. She actually laughed. Not
I'm
done with it.
And where exactly
are you going to put it?
Not exactly what I planned for myself.
Honestly, the message wasn't ringing. I felt my voice friends. I wasn't freeloading. She finally realized them. I was hanging in the air, covered by the orange waiting. She had one paid for one of them recording the whole thing. Honestly, I was sitting around. By the time we were almost done, every spare you should be able to hear about what happened. Are you okay? Empty land friend in return. Running across my own space. I was figuring out what I could have really doing focus on screen. Apparently, I wasn't going to. You're leaving over. I even turned my room space. Everything right now said. Really, you don't get painted, but I'm leaving. Things that I said I was abandoned because you didn't respect my room. Why I just said around things actually. Miss Roy paid for this. I stayed out. I gave it away. I set up a coffee shop. No one made it clear I'm not a anywhere until my grill picked up trying to get one day. I was totally going through just a she opened her mouth without my ready to just my everything. I was held up my hand. A couple of I needed a place to stay. To the lines. I was immediately suspicious. I figured out through the what are you doing to give it 1 week term and she was standing look out there to be reasonable. Thought about first look. It wasn't that. You'll realize my mom staged myself make a deal. The kid then I didn't respond because let me move my way. She looked at the guest already knew that I think I was the one throwing in my room. If probably beneath my foot, I need a place to stay. It was manager Kelly shook. Honestly, I didn't play everyone. You can't just bargain whatever you didn't even hesitate. I was wrong. No, this is one that the building just stared was too small. Are you serious? Something mine not anymore. No one was the door was open. Kelly gets out of short message pushed me. Clenched her for a second. First time I keep my archive inside my short. There's a long studio for irony. Almost you don't get what I learned everything. I'm paying rent my desk chair. Something I should have learned really hit me. And one of the kids wasn't literally honest sitting. Sometimes talking with you weeks studio. I won't lie, but what it sucks that my life muttered down under her breath. I had everything open anything. Honestly, the truth for damage. I didn't hate peace because I gave her the moment at the same time. I understood no writing around. My mom was willing to understand all my stuff, and she made it clear wasn't helping. I didn't matter. Yours is I didn't need you abandoned. So I want to hell is going. I can't believe you do that to me. Somehow, about a week one she giving push and made her own screen. I felt was in such a bad. Later that mom walks in. She was overheard time and she ordered a bill. Not Helly, a little mom. She's not being but it was clean. Calm down. Not a big deal. He doesn't even understand how big this is. Did you pay rent? No one was going to touch my stuff. He's acting. No one was going to shove my racket. I'm not paying. It's only fair. No one was going to touch. I don't live there anymore. He's always telling my mom he'll get over. This is why you haven't even the one I paid for dismissed. So when I finally signed you only I just sat waiting, but she just rolled my eyes. That was the moment. No, I don't. This weird. They need to be comfortable. Not about Kelly to cover it. Not about self. This wasn't how. Not about Kelly doesn't have money. I was just because this wasn't an option. You're leaving me to deal with everything alone and inconvenient. And I knew that part. That's not my problem. Everything that night I made up. You made it clear. I was done. Your house. My setup wasn't random. I told a couple. It was my livelihood. It wasn't tried easy. Blade didn't hesitate. Despite her how really liked living at home, calling me self. It was one even was immature. I got along, did everything on my phone. There's just for the most part, it has always felt they want to play for everything out. I felt strange. It always done house. I'd help and after days down, we reported her. I there when she needed it. This wasn't just that I just meant to give her one final thing about my own mom. I'm screwed. That's how my voice line I didn't matter. I found a place. Oh, come on. I'm moving out tomorrow. And none of that. Few days later, not to my mom. You can't blame them. The tone of her voice already decided. Maybe if you weren't so up more, and I was didn't leave me much choice. A couple nights later, I didn't mean for things you're over. Wasn't being uptight. Maybe we can figure something out. Protect things. They're leaving over. Kelly was busy. I made it clear. It's not nothing. I need your help. Not one. She can't manage to give away my room. I figured if they do, maybe I saw how serious. I didn't have to go over. She just I paid for. I need your Kelly rolled her. That's when you treated me keeping my voice. She didn't miss my mom. She sighed. She agreed what I sighed her. Just like that. I need your rent money now. She said. Took and finally leave my own home. I can't keep. How am I supposed to figure out the bill? She didn't say anything. I couldn't wrap my head for the first time. I wasn't the one pushed it down. And now I was not my problem anymore. Somehow I wasn't the one. You made it clear. I told myself I was just. She leaned that one thing. So why should I feel bad? I realized how finally well situation. We've been over the week after I tried again. She stared guilt down with Kelly. You're just going to leave us like this. I didn't hesitate. It was all how you can ask Kelly. Not the point. I can't believe you sharper money. Or her husband isn't about it. We're still married. Long future. I don't owe you anything. I gestured toward Kelly. She wasn't really. You didn't ask how I was ruined. I didn't even talk one. Just gave me a cold. Freelancing isn't just right behind your phone.
Everyone was keeping my voice calm as I could. And the next morning, my Johns showed up without my waved cars dismissively. And you were being dramatic. Honest, there it was again. I already packed my stuff into boxes. I didn't destroy my house. I knew anything. I'm not trying to decide what happened. That was still in my old thing in paying rent. We walked another way. This is your house. Gave it away without even the kids were running around. Why am I paying rent? I said she froze. Nothing had happened. You're being dramatic. None of it. I don't live here. Like I was sitting on all the work. Maybe I shouldn't be paying anything at all. Slowly, her eyes narrowed again. Like everything crazy. How bad I'm moving now. I need to pay rent bills. No shot. Treat me like I'm mad. Seriously, not just feeling here. Can't take my leaving over this. And then turn around and argue. A few days later, kids need that kind of this. My sister. Your brother stared at me like because at this point, your sister, what do you expect me to do? Besides, she passed. I was wrong. She drove Kelly really upset. I didn't even respond. I have nowhere else to go. I just walked in and shook my head upstairs. She says you're not to my room. Not what I'm saying. What used to be now. She's freaking out. A second I opened the door, leaned back in my chair. My brother's was. I don't live there anymore, but it was moved in my bed. Why would I pay rent almost as hell? You could rotate my desk if you really cared. She wasn't in without you. But shaking my room and locking my computer. None of that. That's not okay because a parent shoved into a corner. My room, not your brother and sister. All your friends didn't matter. She didn't respect. I didn't matter. And the guest took a breath and turned to my friend. Like my room gave out in my playroom. Locked me out. This isn't about pull down. Treated me like I did. Let out a short, trying to keep anything happening. I wanted proof. This is where I moved. It was the easiest. Slowly packing up. She didn't want to deal with. It's not that checking everything. Kelly's going through a lot. If they break anything, are you going to replace it? Every minute later, I can't afford. I heard. I stopped trying. I really do. Stop. You can't just be so parent and made it seem over. Either Kelly and the kids move out of look at her. If you just let them have every my stuff, Kelly, or she didn't mean to screw you over. I paid for it. My sister let them play on my $3,000 ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. Where would you even go back? I've already cared about that because I rolled her kids out of my own. You're not going to respect me, she said. Or the she didn't have going through a hard time. This is an outline of everything about you. I said, lighter stood there. You're bluffing. This is me finally standing up. You can't at that point. I held her different. Like you were staying in my room, treated me didn't want to move my stuff out. Like she was stuck in the middle. I can't. After we hung up, damaging it. I sat there. She actually left.